Welcome back, slot car fans. In this video, we're going to take a look at the custom guardrails we made for our track. They're a great alternative to the OEM guardrails, easy to make and economical. So stick around, we'll show you how these work and how you can build your own. Just a note, we're demonstrating this using Carrera 124 scale track, but most of the information can be applied to other tracks such as Scalextric and Polycar, and even HO scale track as well. These are the stock Carrera guardrails, and they're okay, they look decent, they hold up pretty well, but they do have some shortcomings. There's some applications, at least where we use guardrails, that these won't work, and also, if you have a large track or you want a lot of guardrails, whether functional or otherwise, it could really start to strain the wallet. We do still use these, but in conjunction with our own guardrails as well. There's a variety of materials you can use to make your own guardrails, but we simply use poster board. You can find it in just about any department store. It's inexpensive, and it comes in a size of 22 by 28 inches, so you can have long, continuous pieces, and you don't have a joint every 8 or 10 inches or so. You can get it in different colors too, but we always get the white because we print our own graphics to put on anyway, and we'll show you how we do that. To add the graphics, we print these full sheets, attach them to the poster board, and then cut them into strips. Now, ideally, you'd be able to cut these down first and then just feed them through the printer and print directly onto the poster board instead. However, well, at least with my printer anyway, it's too thick and it won't feed through, so we have to do it this way instead. When you print the graphics, though, I would highly recommend against just printing it on standard, regular printer paper. It's too thin, and so whatever adhesive you use to stick this to the poster board, the paper is going to absorb some of it, and it's going to wrinkle up and it's going to get distorted, and the results just aren't that good. So what we've done here, we have a couple of options here. This is full sheet mailing labels, which so basically it's just a 8.5 by 11 sticker, and so you print it on that, you peel it off, you just stick it right to the poster board. That method works great. Another option is to print on photo paper. Now this is a matte photo paper. It's not glossy. You don't want to use a glossy for this. It's just not going to look right as a barricade on a racetrack. But using a photo paper, you can print in high quality. The colors come out a little bit more vibrant. And it looks really good. Of course, it's not self-adhesive, so you will have to glue it down. Another thing nice about the poster board coming in at 22-inch width is that that's exactly the same width as 2 pieces of standard letter paper and landscape orientation. Here's a section of guardrail cut out and finished, and we find that a height of 1 3/4 inches looks about right. Of course, you can make these walls as tall or as short as you want. I mean, even go as far as to make it really tall and put a sticker on it. It looks like a concrete barricade with catch fencing on top of it. Now we've got the guardrails done, how are we going to attach them to the track? Well, there's 2 methods. One of them uses regular household items, another one more of a specialty item. The regular household items to attach the guardrails are these micro binder clips or mini binder clips. They're like 1/2 inch. Anyway, the small ones. And depending on the layout of your track and what side's going to be visible and what side isn't is going to determine which side you put the printing on. And in some cases, you might even want to build one that's got printing on both sides. We have some like that as well. Where we have 2 pieces of guardrail come together, we overlap them slightly. Just keep in mind the direction of travel as far as which way they overlap. You don't want something protruding out into the track that could catch some part of a car. If you leave those little handles like this, you're going to end up with a slight bank around this turn, which actually, by the way, makes more of a difference than you think it would in the handling of the car when it goes around the turn. But we're going to go ahead and flip all these handles up out of the way so the thing lays flat. Now we realize these binder clips aren't exactly a scale look, and well, we're going with function over form here, but if you do want to clean up that a little bit, you can pull these handles off of the binder clips. You just got to squeeze them and pull them out, and once you do that, if you're using the clips that match the guardrail color, they pretty much disappear at that point. One of the advantages to using these binder clips is that you can pretty much position them anywhere along the edge of the track that you want, with some exceptions. And I was talking about some of the shortcomings of the standard or the stock OEM guardrails, and one of those is these stanchions are so wide on the bottom that sometimes you can't position them where you want. There's things in the way, which so this section of track right here is kind of flimsy. We could use a stanchion, but we can't get one in here. because we've got the pockets here for adjoining tracks or borders. Those binder clips, though, they will fit in some of these smaller, more restricted areas. There are some places where OEM stanchions will not fit, namely the short third and quarter straight sections and also the digital tracks. Here on a lane changer, the plate that covers the mechanicals and electronics prohibits the stanchion from attaching. However, those binder clips will fit. Now, an alternative attachment method is this custom solution we designed. They are 3D printed, and this particular one is for a 1 radius turn. We have others to work with the 1 rad shoulders, in addition to those for all other size turns and shoulders as well. Now we'll demonstrate this with one of the radius 2 turns here, and so that requires 2 of these clips. And we'll take our guardrail section, and we just slip that down in between the clip and the outside edge of the track. And because this is held on the entire arc of the track, this is real solid, like more solid than if it were attached at every couple of inches like it would be with stanchions. Here's what they look like installed on 180 degrees of a radius 1 turn. And those custom track clips that we made, also we made them in straight as well. Remember the example before with the lane changer where you can't get the OEM stanchions in here and you can't get a binder clip in. Also these clips, straight ones, will also fit in there as well. So if you're putting a guardrail in a straight section across a lane changer, and just like the turns, it goes across the entire length of the thing. That guardrail is nice and solid. Making the guardrails for a bank turn, not quite as simple as making them for a flat turn. As you can see here, we've got one of these straight guardrails that we made, and we can't just put that up against the bank turn because we end up with it running out on the ends, for lack of a better term. In order to make the special guardrails for the bank turns, we're going to take a piece of our poster board, about twice as tall as it's going to be ultimately, and this piece is a little short just for demo purposes. You're probably going to want to use longer pieces. We'll attach it to the track temporarily and then scribe a line with a pencil. And at the end of those lines, we're going to measure up the height of our guardrail, and don't forget to add in the thickness of the track, and then attach this again to the track. And we're just showing here how we're doing this temporarily, lining it up with those new marks that we measured up, and then scribe another line. And then we're just going to cut along those 2 lines, and then we're going to end up with a guardrail with a curvature that's going to match the contour of that track perfectly. And when you mark the poster board with these lines, you're going to want to have that where that guardrail is going to be placed ultimately. You can't make just one, like say in the middle of the turn, and then just copy it and expect it to fit on the sides, for example, because the curvature or the contour is going to be different. And notice here, these bottom 2, these are left and right, and then the one on the top here, that is for the middle, and you notice it's got a much more of a curvature than the other 2. Another place you might want to have a guardrail is between the racing line and the pit, essentially a pit wall. In this case, we have a pit on a turn, and we take our guardrail and slip it in between the 2 pieces of track. Keep in mind, at least for Carrera, these connectors that span the track this way, you'll need to cut clearance for those so the guardrail seats all the way down. And speaking of those cross connectors, when we have these nested turns like this, or even adjacent straight sections where we're putting guardrails in between, when assembling, we don't connect these across in every place we can. If you connect these in all of the spots that you can here, it holds the track sections together really tight, and it's difficult to get these guardrail sections in between. So we only use just as many as we need to keep them from coming apart, just not too many to where it makes it difficult. Back to this example with the pit here, this is just a slit fit, and it'll probably hold in place as this is in the pits. You don't expect people to be coming in at high speeds. However, it can get knocked loose. Here's a solution to that. We make guardrail pieces that are taller than our standard ones and cut these tabs into it. Insert these from the top, and then flip the track section over and flip these tabs alternately, front to back. And they never really lay down totally flat. So we'll use duct tape or packing tape to hold these things down. Now, this wall between the tracks is quite solid and it's not going to come off even if somebody whacks it at high speeds, and then of course continue this all the way around the rest of the turn. Hopefully this video helped you out with some ideas for your slot car track. Be sure to check the description for more information on the materials we use for these guardrails. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.